What if the person standing next to you is not just a bandmate, not just a friend, not just someone you share a stage with, but the one place where you finally feel safe? In a world that never stops watching, never stops judging, and never stops demanding perfection, that kind of presence can mean everything. This is the feeling many fans describe when they talk about Jungkook and Jimin, and once you notice it, it changes the way you see them forever. Jimin has always been known as someone who gives his whole heart to everything he does. On stage, he is powerful and precise. Off stage, he's thoughtful, emotional, and deeply aware of the people around him. Fans have long noticed that Jimin carries pressure differently. He tends to internalize stress, reflect deeply on mistakes, and push himself harder than anyone expects. That sensitivity is part of what makes him so beloved, but it also makes him vulnerable in a world as intense as theirs. This is where Jungkook's presence becomes impossible to ignore. Jungkook does not enter Jimin's space with force or drama. He doesn't try to fix things with words all the time. Instead, he shows up in ways that feel natural and constant. He stays close, he watches quietly, he reacts instinctively. And that quiet consistency is what many fans recognize as safety. If you look closely at their interactions, especially in moments when the cameras aren't fully focused on them, there's a pattern. Jimin often relaxes around Jungkook. His shoulders drop, his expressions soften, he laughs more freely, he becomes less guarded. It's as if Jungkook's presence gives him permission to breathe. Fans often point out that Jimin seems most like himself when Jungkook is nearby, not performing for anyone, not trying to meet expectations, just existing. There are countless small moments that fans return to again and again. A hand placed gently on Jimin's back during a crowded event, Jungkook adjusting his pace so Jimin doesn't walk alone, a glance exchanged across the room that needs no words. These are not moments meant to be noticed, yet they leave the strongest impression. They suggest familiarity, comfort, and trust built over time. What makes this dynamic even more compelling is that Jungkook himself is not someone who is always openly expressive with words. He often communicates through actions. When Jimin looks unsure, Jungkook steps closer. When Jimin seems overwhelmed, Jungkook stays near without asking questions. When Jimin laughs, Jungkook's attention locks onto him instinctively. Fans see this as Jungkook silently saying, "I'm here," without needing to say it out loud. This is why many fans describe Jungkook as Jimin's home. Home is not a place that demands anything from you. Home is where you can rest. Home is where you can be imperfect. Home is where you are understood without explanation. And in so many subtle ways, Jungkook seems to offer that kind of space to Jimin. The idea becomes even more powerful when fans imagine a future where they are no longer just sharing stages, schedules, and public roles, but a life. In that imagined future, Jungkook is not just someone standing beside Jimin in public, but the person waiting for him when the noise fades, the one who sees him without makeup, without rehearsed smiles, without expectations, the one who knows when to speak and when silence is enough. Fans often say that if Jimin were ever allowed to fully rest emotionally, it would be beside someone like Jungkook, someone who doesn't rush him, someone who doesn't pressure him to explain his feelings perfectly, someone who accepts that sometimes Jimin needs reassurance and sometimes he just needs presence. Jungkook's calm, grounded energy feels like the perfect contrast to Jimin's emotional depth. What keeps fans emotionally invested is how organic this connection feels. It doesn't appear staged, it doesn't feel exaggerated for attention. In fact, the strongest moments are often the ones that seem accidental. Jungkook automatically reaching for Jimin during chaotic situations. Jimin instinctively leaning toward Jungkook when he laughs too hard. These reactions are fast, unconscious, and honest. There's also something deeply reassuring about the way Jungkook seems to protect Jimin emotionally, not just physically. When Jimin is criticized, fans notice Jungkook becoming more attentive. When Jimin seems quieter than usual, Jungkook adjusts his energy to match him. It's a form of care that doesn't draw attention to itself, but it's always there. Many fans believe that Jungkook understands Jimin in a way that goes beyond words. After years of growing up together, facing pressure together, and navigating fame side by side, they have developed a shared language. A look, a pause, a small smile. These signals may mean nothing to outsiders, but to Venom, they carry weight. In that sense, Jungkook doesn't just support Jimin, he anchors him. He becomes the steady point Jimin can return to when everything feels overwhelming. And that is exactly why fans describe the idea of them together as a place of return, a place of peace. The thought of Jimin having someone who always chooses him, who stays even when things are messy or quiet, is deeply emotional for fans, especially because Jimin has always been someone who gives so much of himself to others. The idea that Jungkook could be the one who gives that same energy back to him feels comforting and right. What fans imagine is not a perfect fairy tale version of love, but something more realistic and more meaningful. A relationship built on understanding, patience, and shared history. A space where Jimin doesn't have to perform, doesn't have to be strong all the time, and doesn't have to explain why he feels the way he does. And Jungkook, in that imagined space, is not trying to save Jimin or change him. He is simply there, steady, loyal, present. The kind of presence that makes silence feel safe instead of awkward. The kind of presence that makes exhaustion feel allowed. This is why the idea resonates so strongly with fans, especially those who understand how rare it is to find someone who feels like home in a world that never slows down. The more fans look back at old clips, interviews, and behind-the-scenes moments, the more they see this pattern repeating quietly in the background. It's not about dramatic confessions or public declarations. It's about consistency. It's about showing up in the same way again and again, even when no one is watching. And that consistency is what convinces fans that what they see is real, or at least deeply genuine. As fans continue to notice these small, intimate moments, the idea grows stronger. Jungkook as the place where Jimin can rest. Jimin as the person Jungkook instinctively protects. Two people who have built something steady in the middle of chaos without ever needing to name it out loud. And the more you watch, the more you realize that the most powerful connections are often the quiet ones, the ones that don't demand attention, but hold everything together from the inside. In the end, what fans are really holding on to is not a fantasy, but a feeling. The feeling that Jimin deserves a place where he can finally rest, emotionally and mentally, without needing to be perfect. The feeling that Jungkook, through years of quiet consistency, has naturally become that place, not because he tries to be, but because he already is. A presence that doesn't judge, doesn't rush, and doesn't disappear when things get heavy. When fans imagine the possibility of them choosing each other for life, they don't picture something loud or dramatic, they picture something simple. Mornings without cameras, silence that feels comfortable, Jimin being able to be soft without fear, and Jungkook being steady without needing recognition. A relationship that feels less like a performance and more like a return home after a long, exhausting day. That's why this idea continues to resonate so deeply, especially among fans who understand emotional safety. Jungkook as Jimin's home is not about labels or confirmations, it's about energy, behavior, and the way two people naturally move towards each other when the world feels overwhelming. It's about trust built quietly over time, not announced, not forced. For many fans, that image alone is enough. The idea that Jimin is not alone with his thoughts, that someone knows him fully and still stays, that when everything fades, there is one person who feels familiar, grounding, and safe. And if love is truly about finding a place where you can be yourself without fear, then it's easy to understand why fans see Jungkook as that place for Jimin. If this story resonates with you, if you've noticed the same small moments, the same quiet patterns, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you also see Jungkook as Jimin's safe place? Or is there a moment that made you believe in this connection even more? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more Jungkook-focused stories, and share this with fellow fans who understand why the quiet moments often mean the most.